What's going on, y'all? My name is LB the Realist, and this is Surrealistic Studios. Thank you for joining me. Do me a favor, hit that like button, show your boy some support, and I will support you back. Hit that comment, and when I'm done, share this video so more people will know about it, and also subscribe if you haven't before so I can keep bringing you material like this. So, without further ado, here we go. Tim Black, Uncle Tim Black, just had an interview with Donna Brazile, the former DNC chair, the interim chair, the person that was that had to step down from CNN because she got caught passing on questions to the Hillary campaign. Also, she's the person that I just did videos about who who came out and said, all but said that, the whole thing was rigged against Bernie Sanders from the gate because of Hillary Clinton signing the joint fundraising agreement that had an addendum in it, which gave her complete control over the DNC's operatives, the financial decisions, the staffing decisions, strategy, analytics, research, all of that. But somehow it's not rigging, and we'll get to that in a minute. But honestly, I believe it was a very telling and informative, enlightening interview. Tim Black, respect. You got to give Tim Black respect for getting this interview and carrying it out the way he did, because he was very respectful, he was very professional, he was courteous, he was kind, he was patient with her, he let her speak her piece and speak a lot of her bullshit, and he interjected and he challenged her when necessary and when appropriate. I believe, in my opinion anyways, I watched it multiple times, and yeah, I mean, the only thing he could have done was grill her harder and ask harder questions. But you gotta take into account, number one, this is his first interview with Donna Brazile. Number two, he had to have felt in some sort of way, because of her stature. This is the first interview with Donna Brazile. He wanted to make sure that he pleased everyone out in the audience, and you can never truly please everybody. It just doesn't work. So you guys gotta just calm down. You gotta take into account that you gotta show the lady respect. Number one, she's a lady. Number two, she's an older lady, and she's been doing this a while, and she's one of the top people at the DNC. You know what I'm saying? So you got to show respect where respect is due. And why berate her? Why drill her on the first encounter when she's coming and she's taking time out of her day? And again, I gotta give respect to Donna Brazile for coming out and taking time out of her day to sit down with Tim Black, to sit down with us for an hour and at least bullshit with us. Because yeah, she was spreading a lot of bullshit. I mean, but we need to use this. Just like I say sometimes, I still get like updates on my phones from like the big news networks and stuff like that, because I at least want to know what kind of bullshit they're putting out there. I want to know the bullshit they're putting out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just be completely in the dark, because I don't know what the opposition forces are saying. I don't know what they're doing. And this could be why she's talking to us as well. Maybe she just wants to get her foot in the door so she can kind of put her ear up against the wall or whatever. Either way it goes, we can use this. We can definitely use this, and we have. So the interview was great. I'm going to leave the interview in the description so you guys can check that out for yourselves. And Jamarl Thomas from the Progressive Soapbox actually did an excellent analysis. We all know Jamarl Thomas. If you don't get to know him, he's great. He'll break it down for you philosophically and psychologically, and he'll get to the nitty gritty. He'll give you context. He'll give you context with Jamarl. So I'll try to leave his video in the description as well as Niko House. Niko House from Mi Casa es Su Casa. He broke it down excellently as well, and he actually documented things that Donna Brazile said in the interview on Twitter. So I'll leave his channel in the description below if you guys don't know about him. I don't really want to get into the whole interview. I'm not going to break down the whole interview. My setup is not. I don't have all that fancy stuff. I don't know how to do all that stuff. I just wanted to give you guys some bullet points. Some stuff that I thought about. Like one of the things that Jamarl pointed out that I wanted to reiterate is Tim Black's audience, us, we're biased. None of us really like Donna Brazile. We know the bullshit she says. We know the bullshit that she's done. We know the bullshit that she's a part of. So in watching this interview, you have to kind of remove yourself from that as much as you can and just kind of respect her as a woman, respect her as your elder, respect her as a person who's been in the game for a long time, and respect her as somebody who's coming to us and actually trying to have this conversation. You have to respect her on 5 different parts. You just got to. I mean, if you don't show any kind of respect, then you can't expect these same people to sit down and have logical, cordial conversations with you. You just can't do it. You can't. You have to be an adult about this. You have to be logical. You have to be strategic. I'm a man of strategy. I hope a lot of you are as well. I believe that this game is run a lot like chess or 3D chess or whatever you want to call it, but it ain't checkers. You know, you can't just expect to make one move or have one reaction to something that's said or done, and then that reaction is going to propel you into the next step, or you think that you having an emotional reaction is going to be of any kind of use to the movement. And I know I find myself on that part of the track a lot, and I just get over emotional and I just overreact because of feelings. But we got to kind of be more reserved, be logical, be reasonable, rational, you know what I'm saying, and really use these kind of situations to our advantage. So another thing that I noticed is she kept saying stuff like she wanted to open the party up, and like people like Tom Perez were, what'd she say? They're going to create a space at the table for everybody. I'm sorry, what? Tom Perez? Mr. Tom Establishment Perez? Tom Perez is going to open up a space at the table for everybody to sit down and eat the chicken? Because last time I checked, weren't there a bunch of progressives that were just purged and stripped of their delegates, their delegate stature, and replaced by fucking corporate cronies and lobbyists and shit? Didn't that just happen? Like, didn't they just have the Unity Reform Commission where they only agreed and compromised to get rid of 60% of super delegates, and then the 40% still have the power? Or something like, I don't understand where they've done nothing. They elected Tom Perez as the head of the DNC, first of all. They didn't even go to the compromise, which was Keith Ellison. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what she means by they're listening. I mean, to a certain extent, yes, they are listening, because she is sitting down and having a conversation with Tim Black and us. She is doing that. She did sit down and have a conversation with Nomke Konst from TYT Politics, I guess. So in a way, we do have their attention, but is anything really being implemented? Is anything really being done? Now, she says that we need to sit down at the table and we need to be in the room when this happens. In Donna Brazile's mind, and of course, a lot of you think that she's trying to sheepdog or sheepherd people back into the Democratic Party. Me, myself, I believe absolutely she's doing it. She even said so on the show multiple times that that's what she wants to do, as well as being a champion to millennials, which I found that incredible. You know, I do think she's trying to do that, but in her mind, it makes sense. In her mind, it's like, you have to change the party from within. Not only that, but you have to start from the ground up, like she did. You know, they started off with her bio in the interview and how she wanted a playground when she was a little girl. So, and that's how she got into politics. So she fought for a playground, like her parents fought for buildings and construction in their towns or whatever. So I honestly get the point. And she said some good things along those lines. Like, she wants more people to get involved in politics and run for office, which I totally agree with. At the same time, you know, she's getting on us about harping on the people that we elect to do a job. But we elect them to do a job. And when they turn around and they don't do that job that we just elected them to do, they say, well, if you don't like the job that I'm doing, when you go run then. My best advice is you go run. You go run and you be that person. Which I halfway agree with, but at the same time, no. We hired you to do a job. You should do that fucking job that we hired you to do. Why the fuck, if you hire a plumber to come plumb your house, and you don't like his job, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you're telling him, like, look, dude, I hired you to do this job. Why are you're not doing your fucking job? And he turns around and tells you, well, if you don't like the job that I'm doing, why don't you fucking pick up the plunger and do it yourself? No, nigga, do the fucking job I hired you to do. That's what you're supposed to do, right? And if you can't do the job, we'll move aside and we'll put somebody there who can do the job. And if need be, then yes, it will be us. But you have to remember that not everybody can run. It takes all kinds. So at some point in time, the person that we elect has to do their fucking job. At some point. You know what I'm saying? It can't be everybody. It can't be everybody. So that kind of irritated me. She kept invoking the name of Jesse Jackson. What the hell was that all about? It was like, it's like Jesse Jackson was the magic phrase or the magic words. Like, Jesse Jackson was the bridge to progressive. I'm not saying Jesse Jackson is not a progressive or he wasn't progressive. I'm just saying, like, he's not the bridge to our progressive hearts. You can't just invoke the name of Jesse Jackson. We're like, you hear what she said? She said Jesse Jackson. Oh, yeah, I love Donna now. Jesse Jackson. Why? Jesse Jackson. No, come on now. And her book, she kept talking about her book, which is, of course, I get it. She has a book out. She's going to push her book. Whatever. I thought it was funny that she admitted to being a hack. When Tim was like, it was brought to my attention that, you know, the name of the book is called Hacks. Did you mean political hacks, like people that work on campaigns? And she was like, yeah, I meant people like myself that work on campaigns. So that was fucking awesome that she admits it. She admits what she's taking at least a part of it. She's taking a part of responsibility. She's calling herself a hack. She knows she's a hack. She knows the truth. So that's all that matters. She admits it. They brought up a lot of things. They brought up the 2016 primary. She has an interesting definition of rigged, by the way. In her mind, rigging is tampering with machines or counting the votes. But in the actual reality of it is, rigging is setting up a situation that's advantageous to one person or organization over another. And that's exactly what happened. From Hillary Clinton signing the joint fundraising agreement, they gave her complete control over the DNC. You know, the scheduling of the debates, the staffing decisions, people that were loyal to Clinton, the research and the bullshit that was going on behind the scenes, trying to disparage Bernie and trying to make him out to be an atheist and a woman hater and all that shit that they said about him. The top people at the DNC already were campaigning for Hillary, like during the primaries. Like, they were counting the superdelegate votes before they even had a chance. Like, come on now. And there was actual evidence of voter suppression, voter intimidation, voters being purged off the rolls, election, like all kind of shit was going on. Like, this was documented. But she still has the audacity to come out here and say, no, it was never. I found, and this is how politicians work. She danced around a lot of these questions. She did a lot of dancing. She did a lot of cha-cha-chaing. But she danced around and she said she found no evidence of rigging. She found no evidence of vote tampering or, you know, anything like that. So she personally didn't find evidence of it. But in the same breath, she turns around and says, but I found evidence of them doing this, and it was unethical, unprofessional. You know, so if it's unethical and it's unprofessional, if I was Tim Black and I was doing an interview, I would have pushed back and asked her, so what makes it unprofessional and unethical? What about that makes it wrong? And if it makes it wrong, why is it wrong? How does that affect the outcome? And if it affects the outcome in any way, because it's wrong to do, if it's wrong to do, then that means that it has some kind of negative effect, correct? Cause and effect. And if that is correct, the cause and effect, then in effect, actually, then the shit was rigged. Because it had an effect on the end result. So it's all in how she says shit. It's all in what she says and also what she doesn't say. I noticed that she shook her head, yeah, when he referred to the DNC fraud lawsuit. So she's very aware of the DNC fraud lawsuit, but for whatever reason, she was unaware, or chose to be unaware, or chose to act as though she was unaware of what the attorneys for the DNC said during the hearing about how they can go in smoke-filled back rooms with cigars and pick their candidates that way. She says they need to be disbarred or stripped of their licenses. And then she challenged Tim Black to provide her with the names and the details of the organizations that said that. Donna, look, Donna, check this out. It doesn't matter. It was said. You know it was said. You were very aware of the DNC fraud lawsuit. You're very aware of Jared and Elizabeth Beck, the attorneys that were handling or that are handling the DNC fraud lawsuit. But you're unaware of what was said at the hearing. That's bullshit. That is total bullshit. That's total bullshit. But all right, they brought up Seth Rich. She claims that the reason why she was scared and the reason why she set up surveillance equipment and the reason why she was in fear for her life was that because of the emails that were released by WikiLeaks being dripped and dripped and dripped and dripped, as she put it. People were sending, I guess, threatening emails and suspicious packages and, making threats against DNC staffers, which I looked up a very quick Google search. I didn't find anything about any DNC staffers being threatened, except for Seth Rich. That's it. So are you insinuating that that's the reason why Seth was killed? Because she didn't seem as though that she believed the botched robbery theory. But if you talk about Seth Rich, if you bring up the name Seth Rich, it's like you're saying Bloody Mary 3 times. No, Seth Rich, stop. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on now. We're just asking questions. We want to know what happened to this young man. We believe he was an American hero because of what we believe he did. You want to keep him in your little, Democratic loyalist bubble. She says she thinks of him as a son or whatever, and to me, there's a reason for that. Why does she bring his name up? She brought Seth Rich's name up for a reason. I believe Donna knows that we're watching her, and she's trying to invoke the name of Seth Rich for her own political agenda. Because nobody asked her to. She brought it up. I'm not talking about in the Tim Black interview. I'm talking about in the interview she did with was it George Papadopoulos or one of those news guys, and I believe she was the first one to bring up his name. She said she buried his son, Seth Rich. So I believe there's a reason for everything. There is definitely a reason for everything, and I believe that she's doing it for a reason. But again, she said she was scared because of the emails that were released. So to me, in my mind, it sounded like she was blaming Bernie bros or people that were angry at the DNC for all the bullshit, I don't know. But she said people were getting at her about being a super delegate and says, that because she brings something super to the table. No, she brings her tires. No, Donna, you bring an extra layer of bullshit and undemocratic behavior when you're a super delegate. That's why we give you shit for being a super delegate. That's why we give the super delegate shit. That's why the super delegates need to be abolished, erased, gone, out of here, kicked to the curb, the fuck out of our politics. This shit is not cool. It's not democratic. And they're put in place specifically to keep people like Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein out of the race. So we know it's bullshit. And at this stupid democratic unity reform, they only want to get it. They compromise to 60% of Democrats off the top. Off the fucking top. She attributed the campaign against Bernie Sanders to just a few knuckleheads. Like, anybody else catch that part? Just a few knuckleheads, and you know what happened to them. We got rid of them. Donna. Oh God. Oh, it's to a point where, I'm literally getting a headache now. It's to a point where it doesn't matter what we say and what facts we present. They turn those facts around right back at us, and they deny it. Just like she does with the rigging. We're like, it's rigged, and she's like, no, it wasn't rigged. It's this. You just described rigging. You know that you just described rigging, right? You do know that you just described rigging, right? Rigging, a quick Google lookup. Rigging, managing or conducting something fraudulently so as to produce a result or situation that is advantageous to a particular person. Synonyms: manipulate, engineer, distort, misrepresent, pervert, tamper with. Doctor. Cambridge University describes rigging as the act of arranging dishonestly for the result of something. This is pretty cut and dry. How do you listen to that definition of rigging and not think of everything that went on in 2016? With super delegates, with the passing off of the questions, with everyone working again and conspiring against Bernie Sanders and making up shit and throwing out those fucking disparaging articles against him and all this bad negative, if any coverage, negative coverage, basically no coverage at all on media, on mainstream media networks, on TV. You know, and then all of that shit, you basically, I think they cheated that shit all the way through, honestly. I don't even think that Hillary Clinton received the amount of support that she received. That's just me. I don't believe the fucking numbers. And how can we believe the numbers? Who's verifying this shit? You know what I'm saying? But you do all of that to get to the motherfucking presidential race and lose to Donald Trump. And then you blame everybody else and their mama for that loss. You blame Jill Stein supporters. You blame Russia. You blame Jill Stein for being a Russian. You blame James Comey and the investigation, the emails. You blame fucking everybody but Hillary Clinton. And then they say the best propaganda is truth mixed in with bullshit. She takes responsibility for her loss and then doesn't take responsibility for it. Donna Brazile says practically that it's rigged, but says it's not actually rigged. It's like we're living in a democracy, but we're not actually living in a democracy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm upsetting my puppy. Like this video, share this video if you believe that it's shareable. And subscribe to me if you haven't before so I can keep bringing you stories like this from my boy Tim Black. Uncle Tim Black, big ups again, respect. And again, I got to show respect where it's due. Respect to Donna Brazile for coming on the show and speaking with us. She left the gate open, so we can use this to our advantage. We can speak with her again. Submit your questions to Tim Black or tbtv.com or whatever you submit your questions to. Tweet them, comment on the video, and let's get another interview. And let's see how we can spin this. I think next time we should drill her on more specific questions concerning the Democratic Party, because that's a person with a lot of years, a lot of knowledge and insight about the background. So if anything, yeah, we know she's going to spit off a lot of bullshit. We know this off top. But again, it's what she says and what she doesn't say. So again, this could be very advantageous to us. Again, I liked a few things that she said. You know, get involved in politics, run for office, hold people accountable. She actually, from her own mouth, she said people with power need to use it to bring about change that we need. And if not, we need a change in direction. I absolutely fucking agree. That's exactly what we're trying for, a change in direction. And more Americans need to vote. I absolutely agree with that. I'm still thinking of ways, and I'm trying to figure out ways to make politics and this kind of stuff more not only accessible but more more entertaining and more, it's hard to get people involved in this kind of stuff because it's depressing and people are disenfranchised, people are discouraged, people don't want to even try because they already know the system is rigged. They don't know exactly how it's rigged, but they know that the system is set up against us, and that discourages people for even wanting to try. But I know I was one of those people, but you have to do something. Because if you do nothing, you're complacent and nothing will ever change. And eventually, you're going to get political about something. There's something in your life you will get political about. It's just, when will it make sense to you? When will you decide that, okay, I have to get involved now because this directly involves, it all directly involves you. You just don't understand that yet. But until something hits you right in the face, you're not going to take action. I'm trying to figure out ways to make people see that without telling them that. Because you can't just, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So with all that being said, love from the bottom of your heart, peace from the top of your soul, and chicken grease in the middle of your tummy. Until the next time, you guys. Peace.